So, you're looking to jump into the world of AI, right? Building your own projects, tinkering with models, but you don't exactly have a data center budget. I get it, you're definitely not alone. And that's exactly what we're tackling today. When it comes to the classic RTX 30 series, which one is the smart money for your personal AI lab? Okay, let's get into it. A lot of the time, the choice really boils down to two heavyweights, the RTX 3080 and its bigger, beefier sibling, the 3080 Ti. I mean, they look pretty similar on the outside, but the differences under the hood, they can make a huge difference in your workflow, whether you're generating art with Stable Diffusion or fine-tuning a language model. Our whole goal here is to get you a super clear answer to this question. And here's our game plan. First, we're going to ask the big question. Are gaming GPUs even right for AI in the first place? Then, we'll dive into the raw power, the cores and clocks. After that, we'll get to the really critical part, the memory showdown. We'll check out some real-world performance numbers, and then the moment of truth, the final verdict to help you decide. Okay, so first things first. Can you really use a card designed for gaming to do serious AI work? The answer is a pretty solid yes, and it all starts with their shared DNA. See, both the 3080 and the 3080 Ti are built on NVIDIA's Ampere architecture, which was just a massive leap forward. But it's not just about the general power. There's a specific secret ingredient in these things that makes them great for AI. And that secret ingredient is all about these things called tensor cores. The easiest way to think of them is as tiny, specialized calculators inside the GPU. And they are ridiculously good at one specific thing, the complex matrix math that is the absolute backbone of pretty much every neural network out there. This is the real secret sauce. So let's just get real for a second and manage some expectations. These cards are awesome for projects you'd run at home. You're going to have a blast with Stable Diffusion, text-to-speech models, or fine-tuning some smaller, specialized AI. But, and this is a big but, you are not going to be training the next GPT-4 on these cards. For that kind of heavy lifting, you need the pro-level stuff with just insane amounts of memory. All right, time for the main events. Let's talk about pure, raw, brute force power. And when we talk about that, the first number we almost always look to is the CUDA core count. You can think of this as the number of cylinders in the engine of the card. First up is our baseline, the original RTX 3080 with 10 gigs of VRAM. It clocks in with a very, very healthy 8,704 CUDA cores. I mean, that's a ton of power to begin with. Then, NVIDIA released the 12GB version, and with it came a little bump in cores, bringing the total up to 8,960. It's a nice little upgrade, but not exactly a revolution. But then, then there's the 3080 Ti, and this is where it gets serious. It makes a huge jump to 10,240 CUDA cores. That is a massive increase in raw number crunching muscle over the other two. And you can just see it so clearly here. That little hop from the 10 gig to the 12 gig 3080 is nice, But then look at that massive leap up to the 3080 Ti. When it comes to pure compute power, the Ti is just in a different league. But here's the thing, raw power isn't everything. Let's switch gears and talk about something that's maybe even more important for AI, memory. VRAM is absolutely critical. The best way to think about it is like your desk space. The bigger your AI model, the more space you need to spread out your work. If you run out of desk, well, everything just stops. Now, this table tells a really interesting story. Of course, getting that extra 2 gigs of VRAM is great, but look closer. The real game changer here is the memory bus width. Notice how both the 12GB cards get a much wider 384-bit bus? This is like upgrading the road to your GPU's memory from a country lane to a massive superhighway. It means way more data can move back and forth, way faster. That is a huge deal for AI. Okay, spec sheets are great, numbers are fun, but who cares, right? How do these cards actually perform when you throw a real AI project at them? This is where the rubber meets the road. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The pros over at Puget Systems, who build these kinds of high-end workstations for a living, called the 3080 Ti a very good GPU for machine learning and AI. So that tells you that all that power on paper really does translate to the real world. So let's use Stable Diffusion as an example, because that's something a lot of us use. The 3080 Ti is just plain faster. You're going to see anywhere from a 10 to 20% performance boost, which is nothing to sneeze at. It's fantastic for generating images at normal resolutions. But, and there's always a but, that 12 gigs of VRAM can still be a ceiling. If you try to push for super high-res images, you might hit that limit. Okay, We've looked at the cores, we've looked at the all-important memory, we've seen how they stack up in the real world, so it's time to bring it all home. Let's make the call. Which one of these GPUs should actually be in your machine? There isn't one single best card for everybody. It really comes down to what you need. So if you're the kind of person who just wants the most performance, period, you don't care about the price, you just want the fastest thing, then the RTX 3080 Ti is the undisputed performance king. No question. Now, if you're looking for that perfect sweet spot, that amazing balance of price, power, and that all-important 12 gigs of fast VRAM, the value champion is the RTX 3080 12 gig. It's a phenomenal card for the money. And hey, if you're just dipping your toes in or working on lighter projects, the original 10 gig 3080 is still an absolutely fantastic place to start. It's your budget starter. Because at the end of the day, all this hardware, all these specs, it's just a tool. It's a powerful engine, for sure, but it's waiting for you, the driver. So the real question isn't just about the hardware, it's about what incredible things you're gonna build with it. And if you want to go even deeper on this stuff and compare even more GPUs for your AI journey, you should definitely check out bestgpusforai.com. We've put the link down in the description for you. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll catch you on the next one.